Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our reaction and review for Only Murders in the Building, Season 3, Episode 3. Grab your hankies. That's the title of the episode. That's not what I'm advising you to do right now. I promise this episode will not make you emotional, other than all of you who get tears in your eyes when you realize that Matt has been right this whole time, and it is all clear to everyone now as to who Ben Glenroy's killer is.
There are two killers, and one of them is Tobert,
That is not what I am saying.
and the other one is Dickie. And I feel very confident about it, but I feel even more confident now that the show actually acknowledged that they're probably not going to be having another female killer. It was nice to have Charles just kind of say that in the episode where he was just like, another female killer. That's been done.
Well, you are correct. This is not a female killer this season. I think we should all agree on that. But the killer is Cliff, and I'm sorry. I think your two killer theory is fun. It's fascinating. I think there's a lot to dive into there, but you're diving in the wrong direction because it is all right in front of you. You just have to dive off the cliff into the cliff theory.
Right.
Thank you.
The biggest question coming out of this episode is who was in the room with Ben watching that footage back? Who was in his dressing room with him? I have a theory about it. Matt has a theory about it, but we want to hear your theory about it. So leave it in the comments.
Yeah.
Who was in the room with Ben?
Yeah, and get your detective caps on and join our Patreon. We've got a link for that right in the description below. Every Tuesday night, tonight, we're over there with the live stream talking all about Only Murders in the Building. We had a really great time doing this last week. We hope you guys are a part of it this time and we can theorize all over the place.
Absolutely. And we have two Only Murders in the Building videos here every single week. We have our reviews here on Tuesday morning, and then we have a preview / theory video that we like to put up on Wednesday. So there's lots of content here at the channel as well. So hit that subscribe button.
Thank you guys so much.
Okay, let's start out with who was in the room. Now, I've written down what Ben said because for my theory, it really threads into it. Okay, this is what Ben said.
Okay.
You're not supposed to be here. You're acting sweet, but you're bad. I want you so bad, but you're going to ruin my career. Okay.
All right.
So with all of that being said, the person in the room didn't kill him. I think this is a complete red herring because I think that Tobert is the killer and he knows or has footage of him killing him. So I think the second time at the elevator, again, two killers. So I think that Tobert was trying to get that footage back of himself or any sort of audio or anything of himself killing Ben, and was using this as like a smoke screen to be like, look, Mabel, over here, somebody was in the dressing room. Who could it be? Kind of thing. That's what I think is happening. I think the person in the dressing room did not kill Ben, but it's Loretta. And the reason I think it's Loretta, and before everybody's in the comments being like, oh, she's much too old to be with him. She is Meryl Streep, and, she can be with whoever she wants. And here's the thing, too. They've been kind of setting up that she's a little bit of a honey trap, her own sort of honey trap, where we've seen her kind of, cozying up to Oliver. They've now shared a kiss. It's, helped her with the play a little bit, even though she didn't need it because she's wildly talented. Oliver had brought up this, she shows up to work and she's like, oh, sorry, I'm late, sort of spent the night with Dickie. And it's just like, what? Oliver's like, what? Why would you, what's going on there? Oh, he's my manager now. I'm just like, okay, so now he's your manager. You're spending all this time with him, and all of a sudden he's getting you like parts on some Grey's Anatomy spin-off, right?
Yeah.
So the way that Ben had said, you act like you're so sweet, but you're bad, brings us back to the second episode where he was in the room with everybody and he's like, oh, I did this to you. And Loretta, you're a snake. I was like, it's her.
Okay. See, I do think there are certain things that you've said that I agree with. Like, it is very bizarre to me that she would be willing to work with Ben's brother. So just given what has been established about her relationship with Ben, that like all of a sudden Dickie is okay. Like there's something very strange about that.
Yeah, and like the ruin my career might be that he is worried that if it gets out that he's with, he seemingly was with Kimber and now he's, with Loretta, or Loretta kind of was a bit of a honey trap and bringing him in, and then all of a sudden is kind of like, oh no, sort of thing, that if it got out, he thinks that if he was with an older woman that it might ruin his career. But I mean, whoever it is somebody that he's like, you act like you're sweet but you're bad. He's called her a snake, and he has said, I want to be with you so bad.
I do think that Loretta probably is a honey trap. I think she's clearly very persuasive. She can really use all these sort of social angles to get exactly what it is she feels like she needs. And maybe Ben was aware of that, and maybe that's why Ben called her a snake. But I don't think that Loretta was in the dressing room. I don't think Kimber was in the dressing room either. Like,
No.
I think we're both on the same page that right now Kimber is just the big giant red herring. They want us all to be kind of focused on that. But
no, how would sleeping with Kimber ruin his career? It's not. I think it's kind of expected
Yeah.
that, the stars are going to hook up kind of thing, which is, so weird, but that's the thing.
Okay. I'm getting on the tinfoil hat because this is a little bit out there. I don't know if the show is going to go fully in this direction, but I think there's still, I promise not every answer I give throughout the season is going to be Cliff, but
Why are you making a promise that you cannot keep? You cannot keep that.
Cliff did everything the entire snow. Okay. This is why I think this could be Cliff and why Cliff could still be the killer. Now, I am never afraid to take my L's, so I will take an L. I can never do L the right direction on these videos. Yeah, I always get it backwards. Now, okay, I will take the L on my he killed him for insurance theory. I don't think that that's really the case now that we've seen episode 3. That is still a little bit obvious. That has been done on a lot of other murder mysteries. Now, what's more interesting to me is the idea that Ben and Cliff had some sort of secret relationship that was going on behind the scenes. Now, there are a couple of reasons why this would be so complicated. I mean, number one, he is a Cliff, despite whatever inexperience he is a producer on this play. And that always raises big red flags about, cast influence, favoritism, all of that sort of stuff.
Sure.
That's one issue. Another one here is Ben having a certain image of himself that he has developed over the years, sort of being a TV star, movie star. I think we're in a world now where, I think thankfully a lot of people don't care about orientation. You love who you love. But, we don't know Ben. We don't know Ben's image that he has projected out there. And I could see a situation where he thinks that if it comes out that I am in a relationship with this man, it could ruin my career. It could create some sort of problem for me. It could create a big distortion into how people see me. I mean, there's already the storyline we saw where Mabel kind of has her own fascination with Girl Cop from a very early age.
Yep.
And so this could be something that creates a lot of complications. Now, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Ben is the sort of person who led Cliff on time and time again, told him that he was going to make him the next big producer, all of this sort of stuff. But then when things got too serious or Cliff got too much into it for him to be like, no, we're not doing this. It ain't going to be public. It's going to be bad. It's going to be all these different problems. You think that you're sweet, but you're not. I have seen the real you. That is important because Cliff on the show has been so one note. And so, okay, he's got a creepy relationship with his mom. That's the joke. They keep hitting time and time again. That is also a red herring. There is more going on here. This is a crime of passion. Cliff is heartbroken. Cliff is angry. He wants to do something about it. And on the other side of it, he's unmoved enough, shockingly, by all this that he's just like, let's do the musical. If I can't find a way to get to the top with Ben, I'm going to find a way to do it this other way.
Yeah, I think for Cliff and the relationship he has with his mom, who's really sort of tried to keep him down under her thumb this whole time and continues to do so. I think he really wants to break out and sort of do his own thing. And that's why when his mom was like, nah, we're moving on, he's like, no, we're doing this play. Like, and if he is the killer and he did take a shot at Ben and he didn't and he missed, if the two killer thing is true, or if the one killer thing is true and he actually killed him, he might be like, this play needs to be worth it now at this point because I did this thing and it's got to be worth it.
I think no matter who the first killer is here, the poisoner, if you will, like whoever that is, they can't be so proficient in doing this sort of thing because they clearly just misjudged how much poison would be required in order to kill him. So it had to be something a little bit reckless and from somebody who is not altogether used to doing this. And I don't really think that eliminates anybody that we've been talking about here, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. So here's a little bit, I'm going to put on my herd hat.
All right.
Here's a little bit of some beef that I'm having with this season. So one of the beefs that I'm having with this season is there's not enough podcast. It feels a lot like Mabel's just mostly on her own. And one of the things that I really liked about the other seasons is having her with her olds and that we got to see them doing the podcast, researching stuff together. And, you know, Charles is researching some stuff. We saw him trying to get all the hankies, finding out that Kimber doesn't have hers. Ooh, it's not Kimber. But Oliver is so involved with the play, obviously, that he's not really involved with the podcast, which kind of sucks for me. I really like the dynamic of the three of them. I love seeing them working together on the podcast and getting really into the crime, but Oliver can't do that this season.
It's tricky because I think there is this sort of temptation. It's like, okay, we have to make sure every season is different and every season stands out in its own way. And it's like, okay, congratulations, you did that. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to go to this extreme. Like, I agree it would be nice if we got more of the trio together, mostly just because, like, even the little moments that we get of them this season, it's just like a reminder of how good it is. Like, even just the ridiculousness of Charles being like internet meme and talking about it's a smolly. It's not, it's like, okay, this is so, you are such a weird person. But that is the only murders that we really, really love. And, you know, and this is no offense to Tobert or Jesse Williams, who I really, really like. And I mean,
he's great in this.
Yeah, I can tell he's really enjoying playing this role and it's different and something fun for him to explore. But it is like, I miss Mabel with her olds. If we're going to have Mabel and Tobert, I wish we had Mabel with the other characters as well. I will give a slight golf clap to Tobert for basically being like, yeah, I listened to the podcast. Season 2, not as great as season 1.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
We love it. We love a self-aware king here, Tobert.
Yeah. Okay, so everything with Tobert is pretty good until the moment he put his finger on her mouth and I was like, okay, here's the love interest. Please stop giving Mabel a love interest. She doesn't need it. The thing that she needs this season is exactly what I said in the premiere, and they played a little bit of it in this episode, which is we know that she's got 4 weeks before she has to get out of her aunt's apartment.
Yeah.
I've said I think that the podcast is going to really take off this season in a huge way where they're going to have lots of money coming in, lots of sponsors. Like she's going to have enough money to get Sting, Amy Schumer, Ben's apartment. It's just been a revolving apartment. And when she goes up there and she's just like, oh man, you know, like I've been in this apartment, you know, so many times. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be your apartment. Like they're setting it up. But if they're setting it up, this podcast needs to get moving.
I love this. I love this storyline, and I love this idea so much because, well, one, I just want a season four, and I feel like if we are moving in this direction, you have to have a season four with Mabel actually living in that apartment.
Right.
I think it kind of brings everything full circle. It gives her something as well that she's sort of driving towards. I think that this could be a really good story for her this season, as long as you don't get too far into the weeds of Tobert. I want to believe personally, and this I may be deluding myself here, that after everything that Mabel has gone through, in particular in season two, that she's going to know I cannot date or be with anyone who is associated or even remotely connected to any other case that we are working on, because it is going to end badly and it is going to be a mess.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with some of the admissions that
Mhm.
Tobert had, where he's basically told this story about, this baby elephant that was starting to like sink and drown, and that he made the choice to not save it and just sit there and keep on filming. And I mean, that's a tough choice for a documentarian to be like, do I step in and help, or do I have to, this is my job, is to just keep filming, sort of thing. And where does your heart lie if you're going to watch a baby elephant, like, start to drown? Like, yes, there was a happier ending to the story that the mother came and saved, but
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't know that was going to happen. He was just going to film this baby elephant dying. So it tells me that he's capable of killing somebody. I honestly think it was an interesting, like, go back and forth over this footage that he was trying to get. And the fact that he was in this apartment being like, oh, I'm looking for my mic stand, that the actual footage that he's looking for is that, oh, Ben took the camera from me and brought it into the room, and this is going to sort of be my award-winning documentary. I'm going to get it all out there. Okay, Mabel, let's do it for your podcast instead. Here you go. I was just like, no, 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 no. That's not what's happening here. No way is he going to be like, I want to be the person to have my story told the way I want to do it. I was out filming elephants and now I'm here following Ben. I'm going to get something out of this because I have the footage to be able to, prove what happened or whatever. That's why it's like, he's going to give over that footage. Yeah, you know what? I'll help you with your podcast. Sure. Here's this over here. Don't look over here where I'm killing Ben.
See, up to the killing bin part, I agree with a lot of what
I
you're
know,
saying. No,
Cliff.
I not just it's that I do think you're right that I think Tobert is hiding something, and I think he
He
is
is.
doing some sort of manipulation here to make Mabel believe that he's trustworthy by doing a classic bait and switch and sort of diverting her in one direction, and maybe he has an actual other tape that has some sort of evidence on it that is incriminating, and that is something he wants to keep for himself. Now, we will have a little bit of a Kimber talk here. I mean, we both agree that Kimber is not the killer, but
No, and they've brought her up so early as sort of this, like, do whatever you have to,
yeah,
get the part or get the role or what. It's like, okay, all right, cool, but you're already in this play. Like, what else are you trying to do here? You want to play the nanny? Like, I don't get it.
I think there's a case to be made here that, okay, is Kimber competitive? Yeah, I could see that. Like, could I see her try to do something to get Loretta fired? Sure, but only through the lens of, like you said, she's not going to become the nanny. Does she want a lesser actress in the role of the nanny so that she will eventually take the spotlight more? Sure, but the problem with this whole idea that Kimber is the murderer of Ben is just that without Ben, there's no guarantee the play gets made. And that, while we're seeing Oliver try to push forward, when thanks in part to Cliff, I mean, that's great, but she couldn't count on that. Like, you can't get rid of Ben and then feel like, okay, they'll find a way to work this play out. I mean, I would think if anything else, if you are Kimber, whether it's fair or unfair, if you are linked to a star in any sort of way, that's going to make your own star expand and shine brighter. It's harder to do
Yes.
that if he's dead and nobody is sort of there to verify it. If she's like, I'm in a relationship with Ben after he dies, nobody can verify it.
People love celebrity relationships. Absolutely. It makes both of their stars continue to rise, not just her, both of them for sure. But I mean, right now my biggest curiosity is for the next episode, are they actually going to finally bring in Matthew Broderick, who I am absolutely sure there's no evidence of this, so I may take a huge L, but I'm still wearing my tinfoil hat, that he's going to be brought in as the star of this play. I mean, he is a Broadway icon, doing the producers. He's been on Broadway forever. I know a lot of people know him from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, obviously, but I mean, he is a Broadway icon.
Yeah.
And him being in the trailer for a second, I mean, they don't have a lead. It's perfect at this point that if it's like, oh, now it's a musical, cool. Cue Matthew Broderick, bring him on in.
It makes perfect sense. Like they don't have anyone in this play, this cast right now who seems like they're going to be able to slide right over. I mean, yes, there are other talented performers. We have seen all of that, but you need a name on the poster.
Yes, you need a name on the poster, and you need someone that's already a Broadway star. Like you had Ben, who was like a TV star, movie star. Yeah, of course, that'll bring people in. You have Kimber, who's a TikTok star. It might bring people in. It's kind of tough. I mean, theater's not always for a younger generation. It can be. I mean, I started going to theater really young, but that's because my mom was introducing me to it and bringing me to theater. And I was like, oh yeah, man, this is really great. I think that Oliver knows that he's going to need a star that's really a musical star.
I have two thoughts here as we start to wind this down. One of them just popped immediately into my head when you mentioned her being a TikTok star. Can you imagine people going to this play to see Kimber and they're like, I'm flossing in the audience with my phone because I want to make a TikTok. See,
my goodness, that just showed a bit how out of the times we are that we're pulling out flossing, which is quite a few years ago.
People don't floss anymore?
Oh, no, Matt, no. Even I know that. I'm almost 50.
I have opened TikTok once in my entire life. That is how current I am.
I have opened TikTok 0 times. I only watch TikToks on Jenna Marbles' channel, and she hasn't made a video in years.
Okay, let's go into the Meryl Streep corner here for a moment, because I fully understand now exactly why Meryl wanted to do this. Because this is a great part. It's, maybe Loretta's a honey trap. Maybe Loretta is just this,
which would be so fun.
Like she's already getting to sing. Like, if you've seen, Meryl's done musicals before. This is not like the first time we've ever heard her sing, but like she gets the huge closing number in this episode. She is so good at it, and yet she's able to sort of flip this switch between that and then also playing this, seemingly innocent actress who is just desperate to get this big break, who's going on. I don't think that I can't think of a single person who would have been able to play this role and be able to play it like Meryl Streep is.
No, and it is a very juicy role, because not only is she, incredible to watch. Like that closing scene was just a 10 out of 10. It was so amazing and heartfelt, and this show is just so good. But yeah, if they are playing this honey trap angle with her, I think that would be really fun and interesting, sort of with her also being like, oh, I'm so sweet and so kind. And then now there's this other angle too, where it's like, oh, she's landed this role on this Grey's Anatomy spinoff. And Oliver just being like, no, you're under contract. You can't leave, which is a side we haven't really seen of him. And yeah, he walked it back and was like, listen, if you need to go, you need to go. And she's like, no, I'll stay. But Oliver's under a lot of pressure, and we know that he's already having some problems with his heart. So, I mean, he's got to get Matthew Broderick in there right away to help.
Matthew Broderick, you are our only hope. You must save Oliver's life. All right, well, we'll take up. We have to go create some internet memes really quick,
right.
But no.
While you're flossing.
Yeah, my memes is going to be me. I'm just going to create a website that's just internet memes that are like 3 years old and see how well that goes. Okay, well, go ahead and join our Patreon. We got a link in the description below. tonight over there, we will have a live stream. It'll be real. It's going to be a lot of fun chatting with all of you guys.
Yep.
Like Jess said, we'll have a preview coming up on Wednesday. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. We'll see you here next time.